Chapter 1. The Rattle and the Machine. John is 68. His hands permanently stained with the oil of 5 decades. The scent of gasoline and old waste oil. It is his truest cologne. He sometimes would say, "Hey, honey, how do I smell today? It is oil number 5. And I would just back up, "John," with one finger in the air, "No," with a smile, "Don't touch me," and "Go clean up." He ran John's Auto and Restoration, a successful little shop where he has 2 trusted assistants. Bill and Tom, they restore vintage vehicles. Rachel, his wife of 30 years, managed the books and their shared life, which was fun, comfortable, and predictable. The first sign wasn't for getting a name, but something much more mechanical. He was rebuilding the carburetor on a 72 Chevy truck, a task he could do in his sleep when his hand simply stalled. "Damn thing, it's just not right," he muttered, staring at the gaskets, which, for the life of him, he couldn't tell apart. "They're different thicknesses, old man." Tom sat from the break table, a coffee mug in his hands. "The thin one goes on top." John blanked at the simplicity of the answer, then quickly assembled the parts. He felt a deep, cold shame. This wasn't just a memory lapse. This was a break in the internal code that defined him. Over the next few months, the lapses grew. He'd forget where he parked the shop truck. It was in the same bay every day. He was looking at an engine diagram only to abandon it. Frustrated, he just sat down. Rachel sensed the quiet panic he would not voice. She didn't correct him sharply. She simply became his external hard drive. If he lost his keys, she'd already have them in her pocket. If he forgot the date of a customer pickup, she'd hand him the invoice. So, with that time has gone by. Chapter 2. The Unwanted Diagnosis. The incident that forced the issue was dramatic. John was driving home a familiar route when he pulled over suddenly on the side of the road. Rachel was following him in her car. When she reached him, he was just sitting there. You could see the sweat on his face, gripping the wheel, looking straight ahead, his face pale. "I don't know this street," he whispered, his voice shaking. "Rachel, I don't know how to get home." The fear in his eyes, he looked shattered. "It's okay, dear. Let's get you home." The next day, Rachel made appointments. They went to the hospital, and after a grueling series of tests, the doctor sat them down, the gravity of the news hanging in the air. "The cognitive issues are being caused by mass," the doctor explained softly, showing them the MRI scan. "There's a tumor located in the left temporal lobe." The word tumor, it hit them both like a physical blow. Rachel immediately grasped John's hand, holding on tight. John is holding Rachel's, squeezing her hand tighter. Can you get it out?" "We believe so," the doctor confirmed. "It's operable, but it's adjacent to areas that process memory and language. There are risks. We can shrink it first with targeted radiation, but surgery offers the best chance at recovery." Rachel didn't cry. Instead, she squeezed John's hand. "John, we will do what you want. It's up to you." John holding his face in his hands with tears in his eyes. He looked up at the doctor squarely in the eye. With his voice shaking, "We do the surgery. Tell us what we need to do to prepare." Chapter 3. The Long Wait. The period leading up to the operation was a strange mix of terror and profound closeness. John felt his memory fading faster, a sense of his identity dissolving. One afternoon, Rachel brought his old country playlist, which once triggered his anxiety about deadlines. This time, John didn't panic. He listened to the music, and a visual fragment appeared. The shop on a busy Friday, 3 lifts running, phones ringing, the rhythm overwhelming but manageable. The panic wasn't fear of the music. It was the intense stress of his old life. recalled through a sensory trigger. It was the rush, he said, realization dawning. The sounds of the shop just felt like I was running out of time. Rachel smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. John, everything will be okay. They spent the final week before surgery. Creating an identity journal, Rachel writing down key memories, stories, and the names of their friends, all based on pictures. She included the story of the 1972 Chevy truck, the one he was still working on. Chapter 4, The Recovery and the Anchor. The surgery was long but successful. The recovery was harder. When John woke up, the terrifying blankness was gone, replaced by a fuzzy, generalized confusion. His long-term memory was still a mess of holes, but the frantic urgency was gone. The tumor had been removed, and the pressure on his brain was relieved. Rachel never left his side. She was his physical therapist, his speech therapist, and his historian. When he struggled to find the word spark plug, she showed him the picture in the identity journal and waited patiently for him to connect the word to the image. When he stared at his wrench, unable to recall its name, she simply placed it in his hand, letting the muscle memory take over. John said, "This is a half-inch wrench." Rachel, with tears in her eyes, just smiled. One evening, 3 months into recovery, they were sitting by the window. John looked at her face, which was tired but bright. "Rachel," he said, his voice clear. We were partners, right, in the shop?" She nodded, tears welling up. "Yes, John, best partners." "And the 72 Chevy truck?" he asked, a hint of a familiar, dry smile touching his lips. Did I ever buy you one? I feel like I owe you." Rachel laughed, a beautiful, genuine sound. It wasn't the total memory of the shop, of him working on the truck, but at least he remembered. "No," she whispered, squeezing his hand. "You told me we had to build one better. Then I bought one. And John, the truck is almost done." He looked at the ring on her finger, but a simple band she'd worn for years, made of silver. John holds her hand and looks at the ring. "Rachel, I think I made that ring." "John, you did?" "Yes, John, we're married." As John sat there, you could see the heavy thought in his eyes. "Rachel, you're my anchor," he said, remembering nothing but understanding everything. Holding her hands, he said, "You always have been." He hadn't gotten all his memories back, and perhaps he never would, but in Rachel's steady presence, in the warmth of her hand, John found the deepest, most essential piece of himself. The knowledge that he was loved, supported, and safe. The fractured mirror was gone, replaced by a simple, unbreakable anchor. Chapter 4, The Truck. A year has gone by. Thank God John is now back to the shop. He is not full-time, but he does his part. His trusted assistants, Bill and Tom, kept the shop going while they were going through their rough patch. They helped him with the truck and his memory of the shop and all he had done. Well, let's just say he is back on track. He still doesn't have all his past memory, but every day we work on new ones. But we have great news, Bill and Tom. Wanted to buy the shop, and we have agreed. So look out, car shows here. We come with the 72.
There is more stories to come if you like this content. Please subscribe and a thumbs up.